Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Bitrix24 Partner interview in our new podcast series where we do interview some of the best partners that we have that feature Bitrix24. Today we have a very special and wonderful partner here from AFP Marketing. We have Marc. Hello, Marc, and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Vlad. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. So today we're just going to cover a couple of key questions for our partners that we do have here. We're going to see what they do, how they do it, and of course maybe some good recommendations and advice they can actually pass on to our other partners as well. So let's get into it. So Marc, my first question is, what does AFP Marketing specialize in, and how do you guys get your clients?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. RFP Marketing we are a sales development agency, so we help our client get more sales by doing phone calls, cold call, and prospection for them. We do also marketing on social media and email marketing. So we put all these activity to help our client get sales and upgrade their sales. And we also help companies structure their operation using Bitrix24. And right now we are a silver partner, and we're working with clients across multiple industry like software development, real estate, professional service, immigration also, financing. So that's what we do.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's great to hear. And as far as location, like you did say, you guys are located in Canada. Is there markets that you're basically more specified in Canada, North America? Is there other markets that you guys take your services into?
Well, we're from Quebec, so we work a lot of in the Quebec province. But for certain of our client, we work in Ontario and other province of the Canada. We have a campaign in Florida where we're doing a cold call to one of our client, but all of our Bitrix services related are in the Canada.
Great, great to hear. Now, as far as what you do provide for clients, a big thing with marketing, as I do see, is scaling. A lot of companies kind of want to scale. They want to scale their marketing operation, like you said, maybe their sales operations as well. Do you see any maybe common barriers that maybe some companies are going into, or that maybe are featuring, that it's a little bit more harder for them to scale at the moment?
Well, the main difficulties is to centralize all the sales operation. Sometimes, well, pretty every time I see they will have marketing activity and it will be separate from the sales activity, and the sales team doesn't really talk with the marketing team, and sometimes it's hard to have the same info and be on the same page. Um, and also the organization of those activities. I see a lot of company that work with Excel, that do phone call and on another software, and they have many tools to manage all their activities, and that's a thing that block them because it's hard to catch the opportunity and manage them and follow the sales. Sometimes they have a complicated process sales with a lot of step, and that's what they can block them. When we work with client, we simplify the sales process, and we help them to focus on more the reach of the client, because if they concentrate their effort on the managing side, they lose a lot of time and they're not really putting effort on what bring them result, because uh, they have their specialty, they have their knowledge in their industry they work in, but in sales is another industry. So that is a point where we work with our client. We really help them to manage the sales process and be more focused on the effort that are oriented to the client.
I think that's a really good point that you brought up there as far as having basically all those sales tools that you need, maybe not just sales tools, but all the tools for your business in one platform. A lot of the partners that I speak to as well, they say, especially when you look at, some of our competition that we have, whether it be Salesforce, whether it may be Monday, whatever it might be, you see that all these business instruments are kind of spread out through different platforms. And that kind of gives you, like you said, you try to concentrate on just the sales, but then you do need to manage leads through an Excel sheet if people are still doing that. And that does really kind of throw off the way that you can be the most effective in your business. So as far as just sticking to that, how does, like inside of Bitrix24, having one platform for all of these tools, how important is it actually to your potential clients? And do you actually sell that as a big point to them as well?
Yeah, of course, because when we let's say we start a campaign for phone calls, prospecting by doing cold call. Uh, when we talk about how we work to the client, and we explain them that we put Bitrix24 instance that they will have access, and we put the phone calls feature. So the sales team made the phone call, and it's all recorded in the CRM. So the client can always go listen what calls are made and what are have been said. So that is a major point because it gave them transparency on what we were doing for them because we represent the client, but also they see what have been done in the day, and they can see, okay, we have like one appointment, one proposal, or whatever the metrics they're looking at, but they can make provision on what we've doing and what we've having as result. Let's say before we come to work with the client, they will use like a software, as you say, Monday, or I see often Odoo that have been used, but they're doing the phone call in another software. So the sales member have to open up a software where he do his phone call, and no note have been taken, no information have been really been taken because he is in another software. So it's hard to manage everything when the sales member are using many tools. Uh, there's a lot of CRM that doesn't really integrate the phone call system uh, as we can have with Bitrix. So that is a really major point. And the other one is the automation, because we can automate all the communication through email regarding the step that the client is. So it's really helpful. Let's say when there's an appointment with a client for a demo or whatever, we can automate all the communication with the client for his appointment. It does have upgraded the result because when we schedule appointment, there's like 50% chance the client can not show up. And just with the communication with email, like a follow-up or a reminder or anything else, like there's more show to the demo. So that's getting more result.
Yeah. And another thing I kind of want to cover as well, you just touched base on it, is the sales automation, how it does play a part, basically, with teams and whatnot. The thing I want to cover here is a lot of our partners, they say, we want to help companies implement automation and they want to get bigger, they want to grow, they want to scale. But a lot of these small companies, when you actually come to them, they might get a little scared of the word automation, right? Maybe they're not used to automating things. Maybe they don't even know where to start from that. How do you approach businesses that are kind of small and offer them automation and say, listen, this is how you automate, to maybe how you enter enterprise size project, right? And maybe how you give them the option of automation. Do you have a different plan of how you approach that?
Well, the first step is to map the process, to write the workflow, and start implementing a little bit by a little bit. We don't do everything in one step, and then the client have a full automated system that he doesn't even understand. Because when we automate things, it's to gain efficiency and to gain time, to not repeat actions. And when we first write down the workflow, it's more easy for the client to see, okay, at this step, I need to send an email every time. It's always the same email. I can automate that. So it can by the client himself. He see when he see clearly when he have his workflow right down, and that's the starting point. And after that, I made suggestion. When I see his workflow, I identify where there's a friction point or where there's steps that are not needed, or sometimes they have doublon, like twice the same step but different way. So I try to simplify it, and after the time, the client have start having ID. So when we automate a system, it live with them and it grow with the client. So when it's looking for scaling his business and get more sales, we can see, okay, what the sales process look like, what made the client go faster to the step, and how we can gain time in it. So yeah, that's how we work for the first step.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually great to hear because you don't really want to, kind of scare the client off, right? Of just offering way too much, saying this is what you need in 5, 10 years, but you don't need it now. So I think a lot of our partners that are listening to this, take it easy, take it step by step and introduce things into their ecosystem, like you said, Mark, that they actually know and need, first of all. Once you implement automation in a pain point that they have, they're going to show more trust to that. And again, down the line, when they are ready to scale, maybe when you're all working with them, helping them function, maybe doing some maintenance with some of the automation you've already set up, you can then go in and introduce different maybe parts of Bitrix24 they haven't even seen. Like you said, we kind of returned back to our original subject of just it's one platform, everything's there. They might have not even known they could integrate calls or maybe integrate email campaigns, but they can. So it's actually another way to simply kind of feed them the automation, have them be comfortable with it, and then on the back end kind of offer new products inside the same platform they're getting a little bit more and more comfortable with. So I mean, that's great that you do that. It's actually very, very, very great to hear.
One thing I see a lot with my client, what I'm used to, is when we start working with them for a sales campaign, we configure the CRM module, and then the client discover Bitrix and he start using the task and project management. After that, we talk about doing a landing page. So we use the website module. After that, you need to sign documents. So we show them the feature, and it goes on, and you start discover new feature that he was using in another system, and then he save some cost because he cut the tool that you were using to use it through Bitrix. So it's something that grows with the client, and he discover by himself what he can do, and then he use it. And the fact that it's all centralized with the sales management point, like the sales are always the center of everything with Bitrix, the way we work with, and that's what made the client discover other tools.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like a back door. You open one door and then the client opens another one. So it's actually very nice. And it's like I said, it's a little bit more simple in the way you don't have to push the sale. You're not saying, listen, you need to use the task, you need to do this. When they naturally come by themselves to that moment, it just makes the sales process more easier for you. And then on the back end of it, they're so much more grateful. And like you said, the key word there was you're saving them costs. And especially when they see they already have the platform, they're already paying, I don't know, the pro tariff with us, they can go ahead and cancel that Odoo subscription or cancel the Monday subscription where they were using tasks. So that's actually very good. I think of a lot of our partners need to understand that the platform is so big and it's in one place. So you need to kind of understand how and when to show the right tools that the client needs. So kind of sticking with that, Mark, can you share a little bit of maybe some real life examples of something maybe you've implemented not too long ago, or something they found or your clients found very helpful after you did implement it?
Sure. One of my client, real estate financing firm, we've built a CRM entity that we call building, because in the CRM, by default, we have contact, enterprise, devis, like a proposal or a facture. And and he need to manage his building sales, um, his property management. So by creating a CRM entity, it helped him track the property linked to his deal, and gave a full view of the owner, the property, and the financing stage. So it it helped him to manage his workflow through it, and he built a web form for his client. Like when a client want to sell his building, let's say it's 100 door, so there's a lot of document that are need to this, and with the form, you can have the information you need for a client to do his first step, and after that, we with the collab feature, we've built it's like a web space for the client and the financing firm to exchange document securely. Because in Quebec, we have a law about cybersecurity. It's called Law 25, I think. And what it does is the professional, the company, um, have to put a security measure, and they cannot, let's say, just send confidential information through email. So he need a secure space online to exchange document. So with the drive, uh, we've uh, we've put web access to share the document. So all that is it's implementing in his workflow, and he worked with it with his whole team, and it's been a great success because before that he were in his Excel. So he made a lot. He put a lot of time in his Excel to create rule, create a calculation for his business, but it was taking him a lot of time to put information manually. So with this workflow implemented in Bitrix and the CRM entity building, it was really personalized to what he's need. So that is an example. Another one, I work with an immigration firm, and we build a pipeline that have matched every of his step for the immigration process. And what was one of his most need were the automation of the document for the creation of document with dynamic field for the applicant. So when someone apply for immigration domain, he receive a document with his name and all the personal's information that have the need for the client. So that is a good thing. And he signed his document with the feature in Bitrix. That is the two recent project we've worked on.
Wonderful. I think the things I want to cover that you just kind of said, we still covered some of our partners as well. When you have clients that actually take data management, data security seriously, it kind of opens up, again, another way for you to sell Bitrix24 and another advantage we have. So it's very good when you have a potential client that already has data, that already stores data, that has Excel spreadsheets that you can actually import into Bitrix24, and it makes it a lot more easier. The more data your client has, the more things they can give over to you to import into Bitrix24 will just make the implementation process much more easier for you and for them on the back end.
Not every time. So, sometimes the data of the client is a mess.
That's the
But
thing.
yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good way for you to kind of help them organize it maybe and introduce a new way of how to manage that data. But the second thing that you said, the data security, especially you with someone that works with, clients from the United States and that you're based in Canada yourself, do you see some maybe unique challenges working in two different countries, but maybe that are so close together? Like previously you covered, you have specific security laws for documents in Quebec, right? Is there something that you've kind of ran into in the United States that you have seen as well?
it's not the same thing in the United States. Really more easier share document, but people in the United States are more sensibilized and conscious about the risk of sharing document with confidential information. So they will use a way to secure it by themselves. They won't need a law. What's happening in Quebec is there's a lot of whole company that are still working with paper and are not informatiz like they don't use technology as they should in 2025. They're still in the 20s. So 2000, I mean. But it's there's a reality in Quebec, like a lot of company looking to do a digital transformation and use technology the right way, because there's a lot of paper. Like what I mean by that is we see often someone with a form in his pencil, and he write down information that will type manually in his computer, and well, it's not really organized, and there's a lot of time to gain back, because there's a company in Quebec are really late with technology. Well, that is an opinion, but I'm not the only one taking that. It's the fact that we talk a lot in Quebec. So the government have applied this law to make sure a company will secure their communication and their exchange of document, because there's more and more company that have been hacked, and it costs them. It's really the major. It causes a lot of damage, because it touch the financial, it break the operation of the company, and we see it more often. So that's why there's a law. In Canada, in other province, it's different. There's not the same law, but there's still um, something to oriented the company about that. So that's three reality we have in United States. Company that are conscious. Quebec, the company didn't know about security and the fact that confidential data can be hacked through email, let's say. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. So we do a lot of sensibilization and education with our client about that.
That's great to hear, because another thing where Bitrix24 really excels that people, maybe our clients and maybe our partner, hopefully our partners know this, is security wise. A lot of the different security things that you need to cover, from all over the world, no matter where you are. In Europe, if you're storing data, if you're storing data in Canada, United States, they're all different specific laws for all this stuff. And that's where Bitrix24, like you said, it's a good way to, again, if your whole client, comes to you and says they have, stacks of papers everywhere, they don't know how to go digital, they don't know where to start. And then the first time they do start, and then they get hacked, and then they have a data leak, I think they're going to be very hesitant to say, okay, we tried this digital transformation, but all our data got leaked. So this is a good way, again, to say, listen, this is a safe alternative to basically get going online, transform. It's a simple interface as well. Like you said, if you have the drive, you make everything available on the web. It's something a little bit more easier for businesses to scale and comprehend and be safe. And like you said, a lot of clients, they think safety, cybersecurity is just things, they're not going to get hacked. None of that's going to happen. But Bitrix24, like I know from our end, how much time and effort we take to make sure all our things are protected, all data is stored correctly and whatnot. So that's another big thing I think our partners need to kind of advance to their clients is data security. Data with Bitrix24 is the safest, is the best, and it's always reliable. So that's a great thing you did bring up there. Thank you for that.
But by that, since the COVID pandemic, a lot of company went remote. So, and as we did, all our team member are remote working at home. I'm at the office, but I'm the only one in the office. But so Bitrix really help working remotely, but ensuring security, because I share a lot of document with my team, and it's all by Bitrix. But if we didn't have that, it would be really complicated working remotely.
Yeah, and another thing I see, a lot of our partners talk to, a lot of these companies you go to, everything's stored on Google, right? They all have these Google Drives, Tab, and they don't understand how many data breaches Google goes through yearly. That, all of these data just goes missing, appears there, gets leaked there. So I think people need to understand, clients especially need to understand that Bitrix24 is just like your own portal where it's protected and where it's another level of security that, make sure your data doesn't get leaked and it's 100% safe. So a thing I want to move on to here, as far as, companies that are worried about scaling, of kind of transforming digitally and whatnot, what's something that you would recommend to a company to say first, instead of scaling so fast? What's the first thing you say you would like to automate, and what's the first thing in the automation process you always recommend?
Start by the sales work, the sales process, the sales workflow. That is the first thing, because when you've made a sales, that's the entry point of your client. So you start working with the client, you start doing what you sell him. Like, let's say it's a services. So when the client have bought your service, you start doing the work, and then you start realize, okay, that is the step of the work I need to organize for my client. So the first step is when you start approaching a client. He doesn't know you, so, and you doesn't know him, but when you made the sales, you have a need, and then you move on. So first, when you have your sales process organized, it's more easier to organize the other process when you working with the client, and that is the production, I call. So there's the sales that you organize in the CRM, and then you do the production with the task and project management module. And by doing that, you can see a real clear view of your whole workflow of the company. And that is the main point we work around. Like when we talk with clients that need organize or digitalize their operation, I'm talking with them about their process, how they work, what is the first step with your client, and then when the client buy your services, what tasks are need to be done, how it's done, and what team member need to work on the project or not, and all the deliverable date, like the deadline or the touch point with the client, how it's managed. So it's made it more easier to start with that, because after we've mapped the task and project management, the client can manage other step, but it's, for me, it's like a natural step to doing it like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It makes sense. And thank you for that. I think that would actually be very helpful to a lot of our partners as well. Now, following that up, what are some common maybe mistakes that you see when companies try to scale too fast or try to implement automation when they're not ready?
Doing it alone and try to do it everything at once at the same time. That is what I see the most, well, pretty every time. Sometimes I have a Bitrix request from a user that have already tried to do a lot of configuration, but it's not really well organized. And it's okay because they try to do it themselves and they learn. And that's why I say to the client, I tell them that everything can be done by themselves. Once we've finished the work, they will be autonomous, and they will be able to make change by themselves because they will know the platform. But at first, working alone made it harder because you're learning a new system, and it can be good to learn the system by yourself. But if you have your business going on and other priority, you don't want to learn a platform, be an expert of Bitrix. You want to be an expert in your business. So work with a Bitrix expert that will help you be an expert while you running your business. And doing that, you gain a lot of time. And secondly, when they do everything at once at the same time, and they're not focused, and they miss a lot of critical and important point. So doing it little bit by little bit, step by step, it's the most important thing, because you can really make sure every step is done correctly. When I say this, sometimes client see it like a long process, and can take a lot of time and be really expensive working with an expert, but not really, and it's worth the time. And sometimes when we work with client for Bitrix implementation, we do it before their the estimated delivery time, because with my team, we know where we're going, and we understand well the need of the client and his process, and we explain them simply how we implement it. So when we do the formation and we explain for the client how we've done it and what has been done in the CRM, he understands it really well, and he has able to make change if need or fine tuning something by himself after that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that you said, a lot of partners I spoke to as well, they have this when they come to their clients, they say, well, I can do this myself, or I've already done this, right? I've already done this, but it maybe doesn't work here or something like that. Like you said, it's good for them to kind of understand the platform itself, but when they try to put too much maybe emphasis into Bitrix24, another part of their business starts to suffer. And then maybe because that part of the business starts to suffer, they might point at Bitrix24 as the problem for it, where actually it should be the complete opposite. So here, like you said, it's very good to slowly implement and not say, I'm slowly just doing this because it's going to get me more money in the long end. But you actually, like you said before, you drop the roadmap, you say, this is where we want to start, this is where we're going to finish, and we're slowly going to do it, and we're going to get there. And that way, it's a good way when you're also onboarding team members, because when you automate everything at the same time, like I said, is a big problem with new clients that try to scale too fast. Team members don't even understand the platform. Like I always see a lot of our partners say they have one admin who they technically talk to. The admin understands, listen, this is what you do, this is how you do it, great. But then when you have the actual people, the team members working inside of a Bitrix24, and they don't get it explained in a normal language, they see maybe the admin doesn't portray something or understand something and doesn't pass it on correctly, then you have all these team members that are unsatisfied with Bitrix24. They have a platform that their boss paid for and expects results out of that, but they don't even know how to use it. So the thing is, like you said, actually understand and make sure the client understands why they're using the project, why they're using Bitrix24. This is how we're implementing. This is how much time it's going to take. So they're kind of a little bit more just comfortable and at ease with it.
I see a lot of time with my client, they have older team member and younger team member, and they have the both extreme, like really old and really, really young. So it's okay, but what happened is it's complicated for them to use software. So formation is really important, and you don't want an admin to talk technically with a team member. But when we do the custom view for for the user, because in Bitrix we can have a CRM view customized for each department and each team member if you want. So we organize it really simply for the, let's say, the sales team or the certain department or team member for them. So it made it really easy to adapt, because they just have to look what they have in front of them from step by step and field by field, and just put the information need and do the work that are have that is need to be done.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And just to kind of wrap things up here, Mark, I mean, we're having a great conversation here with you. Looking ahead, what are some of the trends that you see maybe in sales and sales automation moving forward?
It's um it's depend on the industries. Um, there's a lot of like in financing industry or um, mortgage industries. They're really looking to automate the document process with their client, like when there's an application or a signature of a contract. That is a pain point for client, because before, like 10 years ago, people were meeting together in front. So it was easy to say to the client, come to my office, we'll sign the contract. But now it's done remotely. So to send a contract to a client asking a signature, it's getting complicated for some type of industries. And also in financing, there's a lot of volume. So they can make like thousand of sign signature in a month. Um, so it's a lot of, and that is a main point. In other industries, it's more to automate the sales activities in the communication with the client. Let's say in the professional services like software development or consultation or any other industries, the sales process is getting more important, and automated it, like automate the communication with the client through email, like I said before. It's something really important for client, and it's pretty the same thing in other industries. Like they all trying to automate their sales process, their marketing process to be more efficient. But what I want to say about that is it's okay looking for automation, but it's not a magical recipe because sometimes clients have expectation on things that can be easier when they're automated. But yeah, it made again time, but it doesn't simplify the sales effort. Like you still need to contact client and approach them because sometimes client want to do a campaign and send a lot of email, and when the client answer, there's another email, and then callback is done, and there's a lot of strategy that can be done, but it's not all strategy that are good, and that's why I talk with my client when they're doing a sales campaign. I say, look, we need to talk with the client first, and then we will automate some communication that will be easier for the sales member. And it's important to keep in mind that automation, it's good, but you don't want to cut the human communication with client, the relation that you're doing with client. So that's something I take and consider. But other than that, it's uh, it's pretty what I've seen with client recently in tendons.
No, definitely. I think something you touched on there was automation can maybe get, clients a little, especially if you work in sales, whatnot. You might think automations or AI, nowadays is they want to take your job, right? And I think with Bitrix24 and the way we implement and the way we do have AI inside of our product, it's a good way to say, listen, this stuff isn't going to take your spot. It's actually just going to help you do your job so much better. And it's actually on the back end, just going to help you make more money and close more leads. So I think once people actually look at automation and AI in specific, more of just really a helpful tool that they themselves can actually help and build and actually learn from, then they're going to look at it a different way and they're going to be a lot more open and positive to it. So definitely, Marc. Again, it's been great chatting with you. This is Marc from AFP Marketing. This is another one of our podcast series that we are covering with all of our partners. And again, Marc, we do appreciate your time and we do appreciate the work that you do with Bitrix24 and your clients.
I appreciate also doing this call with you. It's really a pleasure, and it's a nice chat.
Wonderful, wonderful. Again, everyone stay tuned. We'll be coming out with much more content, especially with our partners and with new other podcasts coming up. So please like and subscribe, follow on all our social media channels as well. And we'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you guys and have a wonderful day.